really overcast really fast because it's supposed to rain. It's freezing outside. It's like literally the perfect autumn day. All right, so I'm gonna catch up on Inktober, on my Drawtober prompts. These are the movies that I'm gonna watch while I draw. I have tea. I also have coffee. Don't ask me why I have both. I forgot that I made one and then made the other, so now I just have 2 drinks. I also have a water to the side. And I'm going to start with probably Dawn of the Dead. I think it's the longest. But I also really want to watch The Ring. So I'll start with whichever one's the longest. Now that I think about it, it might be Texas. I think Texas and Dawn of the Dead are the longest. And then it's Saw, then The Ring. Ghost of Mars and Doom are the shortest. Or Ghost of Mars, Doom, and Shaun of the Dead are the shortest. Army of Darkness is pretty mid. So I'm going to watch these. I'm going to catch up on my drawing because it's the 21st. And I'm about 13 days behind. So I really want to catch up. So I'm going to put these on and get to sketching. Going back to my Texas Chainsaw Massacre DVD really quick. I'm going to keep talking about it. I was thinking while I was going through it, I'm like, did my dad mean to give me this one? Did he really want to give me that one specifically? Because I remember him bringing it home and showing it off and being like so excited about it. And now X amount of years later, he like gives it away and I have it now. And I'm like, this one's like really cool. But he did take all of the DVDs, like this one's his, all of these are his, like all of these were his, and he gave them all to me. He took all of them, like opened them up, like physically opened them, looked around, and was like, okay, here. And he did the same thing for the Texas Chainsaw one. He opened it up, took everything out, unfurled the chainsaw, and it's like, okay, here, this can go to the pile of do not want. And I'm like, okay. And I snatched it up so fast. The only one he didn't give away is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I say that, and y'all gotta understand, I was 11 when the movie came out, but it's 13 Ghosts. And it's one of my favorites. It's such a good movie. I love it so much. I got into horror movies when I was really little. And so for a while, nothing scared me. And so I was like invulnerable to horror movies. Like I could watch anything. All the spooky, scary, bloody, gory things I could watch just fine. And then 13 Ghosts came around and it spooked me real good for the first time in ages. So it became my favorite horror movie ever because it was the first one to actually scare me really good in a long time. Fast forward many years, tons have been able to do that since, but after being like desensitized as a small child to horror films and then having that spark reignited into me as a small child still, like 11 years old, yeah, it became a favorite. So like I've seen lots of people like 13 Ghosts wasn't really that good. And I'm like, but you gotta understand, it's really great to a grade schooler. It's really good, and I like it a bunch. I still like it, and yeah, we've rewatched it. I've watched it a ton. I can't say, oh, I just liked it just because I was a kid. No, I still really like it. It still has that nostalgic feeling to me in my head. Plus, I like Raw Digga. She played the nanny in the movie, and she did a song for the soundtrack. Anything with Matthew Lillard, I will watch. So before we get started, I'm going to show off how I prepped my pages for Inktober. And because the pages are so big, this is a 9 by 12 inch sketchbook. It's a little too big for me, so I don't like large sketchbooks, but these are the only ones that ever go on sale at Blick and Michael's and stuff like that. So I always have to take the deal when it shows up because I go through sketchbooks pretty quickly. Not so much anymore, but I'd rather get the giant sketchbook when it's like 2 for, what is it? It's like usually like 2 for $10, and these are like $15 sketchbooks. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get it. So when it comes to drawing for Inktober, I don't like using the whole page. I used to in the past. I hated it. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I partitioned the page off into 4 sections so I can get 4 days per day for Inktober. Now for Mermaid, that's a little different. I don't mind doing huge pieces for Mermaid because I like my mermaids to have space. But my Inktober drawings, I kind of want to keep them compact. Anyways, yeah, so that's how I start off my pages before I draw them for Inktober. And now that I've done that, I'm going to go back to the previous page because we're going to play a little bit of catch up. I'm not wrong, but catch up, whatever. We're going to play a bit of catch up because I hesitated on day 6 because I didn't want to line the picture. It turned out really good. You'll see it in a little bit, but will you? I don't know if I'll show. If I don't, I'll just put a picture up somewhere that I'll show off day 6. The sketch, the sketch, and then the finished piece, because I didn't want to line it. Sometimes I mess up the line art, but a friend of mine said, oh, why don't you, do you have a light box? You can blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, a light box. The doy. Like, seriously, I could have done that ages ago. So now that I had the confidence to line it with the light box, I nailed it perfectly the first time. So I'm like, okay, well, there's some things I'd rather fix. But since I didn't mess up the sketch, I don't feel too bad about it. So I'm like, I could have done it better. So I don't care. I still have the sketch that I like, and I can always fix it and like redo it if I really feel like doing it, which I don't. So my recording stopped. I don't know when. My camera, because I film on my phone, filled up. I thought I had plenty of space, but I guess I don't know, maybe I'm recording too high. Whatever. It died. It's the next day now. I finished it. So we're gonna move on to day 8. And since it's the 11th, I'm not going to do day 11. I'm just going to do days 7 through 10 like I planned originally. And we're just going to move on. Also, I had to say that because the lighting is going to be atrocious for the rest of this video. Strictly because the sun has set, and I usually try to record when the sun is still relatively up. It is not doing that anymore, especially since autumn is here and it gets dark way sooner. The fact that it's still bright right now at 5:20 and it's been dark at like 4:15 these past few days is a miracle. So I'm gonna hop to it before I lose any more daylight and get sleepy because that's why I have this bad boy. You can't see it. It doesn't matter. Surprise, it's several more days later. I say days, it's like a week later. My birthday passed. It was 2 days ago, so happy birthday to me. And I'm not gonna do any of that art that I was talking about previously. I'm tired. I did most of it outside of the camera. I'm also catching a cold. Lord only knows where and how. But I'm gonna do these instead. These are old pictures from last year that I also never finished because I got busy. I'm still gonna finish the other ones, but these ones are already sketched. And I want to actually have a video recorded and uploaded for October, so I'm going to, I always do that. The reason that I don't upload often is because I'm like, oh, I'll upload it tomorrow, or I'll record something and then I'll edit it and upload it Saturday, and I just keep pushing it, and then it never happens, and so I think the last thing I uploaded was back in February. So I'm trying to get something done now, but I'm moving on from the previous art. I'm just going to do this, and while I draw these, I'm probably not going to get to all 4. It's probably just going to be these 2. We're going to talk about some other projects that I've been working on while I have been YouTube avoidant. And it's not avoidant. I've just been so unmotivated. But I'm feeling a little motivated now to actually upload again, so that's good. But while I draw these, we're going to talk about some... I've been knitting a lot this year, and I'm very happy about that because I've only knit like smaller things before in the past, and now I'm knitting like big things. I talked about it in a previous video that I made my first like actual like wearable kind of garment. Like I've made hats and gloves before, but this is actually like a tank top. It was a free pattern from Jessie Mae Designs that she did during lockdown. But it like set something off in me to want to knit more things, and I've been doing that. So I'll talk about that in a voiceover while I do these. Because I actually just really want to get something uploaded. I'm so tired of not having something done. And if I don't push myself to do it now, it will be another 9 months. So I'm gonna start drawing now, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Also, I've said this in the past, but like if it seems like I'm talking really fast at some points in time, it's because I am. It's not sped up or anything. I grew up with 7 siblings. So if you didn't get out what you were trying to say, you just weren't speaking. So it's a behavior I have to unlearn, but my God, I'm so old now, and it's just been such a thing that I've done my entire life to try to say anything edgewise and with a conversation with 7 other people that it's going to be forever until I unlearn that. So my bad, you're just going to have to put on your good listening ears. It's evident that I used to work with kids. There's going to be a lot of external noise because upstairs is noisy, but we're just going to hop right into it and talk about the things that I knit while I draw a little, what is his name, Jason Voorhees? Oh my gosh, I completely blinked on his name. Anyways, so this year has been a very big year for getting back into knitting and stuff like that for me. It's starting off with re-knitting some things that I liked that I didn't really want to wear because it fit me weird. Because I remade my summer secret crop top from Jessie Mae Designs. I've talked about this previously, and I loved it a bunch before, but this time I cropped it a little bit more. It fit weird because I have such a short torso, so I re-knit it, made it a little bit shorter, brought the collar up just a little lower because it was feeling like really like chokeholdy before, and I'm a big fan of how it is now. And then I kind of still ended up not being a big fan of the way that it fit because it kind of pinches under the underarm, so I'm probably going to make the straps a little bit longer, but I don't want to change it too much because I just love how the body fits. Anyways, moving on to the next bit of things that I knit. I was a part of a bunch of test knits this year, and then I was a part of a make-along, the Jackass Collective Titty Top Make-Along, which was a bunch of fun. So one of the things that I made the Summer Secret crop top for the Make-Along as well. I considered it as a top because I made it I was in the middle of it right as she announced it. So I was like, you know what, I'll count it, why not? And then I also made this rainbow sort of crop top, I guess. There's no real name for it, it's just like rainbow crop top. I found it on Ravelry. And I also wanted to add it because the make-along was back in May, and by the time it finished it was going to be June, so I wanted it out in time for Pride, and I did. It was the first one that I finished for the make-along, and it's probably one of my favorite and most worn tank tops outside of when I started doing the test knits later, and this is my first like major test knit for somebody, and it was this, which is the Salty Water tank by Park and Knit. And the second she announced the test knit, I was hesitant because I had never really like knit something before like for a test knit, and I was nervous that I was gonna mess it up, and then I'm looking at the map and the measurements, and I was like, I don't think I could do this. I don't know what size I need to make. I don't know what to do. And I was like, if it's too small, I'll just say I made it for somebody else. If it's too large, I'll just say I made it for somebody else. But deep down in the deepest, darkest trenches of my soul, I wanted it for myself. So I closed my eyes. I picked a 2XL, which is a little bit bigger than what I wear like in like commercial shirt and like clothes sizes. Because in commercial sizes, I wear a extra large. And sometimes I can get away with a large, and as a matter of fact, sometimes even more so, I can get away with a small, and I'll explain that in a second. I have this black dress that I found at a thrift store, and it was so pretty, and I was like, I don't know if I can fit it, and my mom looked at it, she looked at the tag, and she's like, there's like 6% spandex in here, you can fit it. I was like, okay. So I got it, and I was like, if it doesn't fit, I'll just like turn it into a vest or something. But it fit perfectly, and it wasn't even tight. I'm like, this shouldn't be possible. but it was, and I love it. But regardless, back to the knitting, or yeah, back to the knitting. I made the salty water tank in that green. I can't remember the yarn I used. Alright, for the Jessie Made top, by the way, it was just the yarn that I used previously, which again I don't remember. And then for the rainbow top was just a bunch of cotton yarns that I had like scraps of, and that rainbow top is a perfect scrap shirt, by the way. So I just made a bunch of, well, not made, I just gathered all of my cotton scraps and turned it into a top, and it's pretty nice. A little thick. I don't like crochet fabrics, I think I've mentioned that before, but it worked in this case because it was very sturdy. I do not need to wear a bra with that top. It just does all the suctioning for me. But for the salty water tank, I use Premier's sock yarn, the fruits yarn. It's such a cute yarn, and it's very airy and light. Like, I love the frick out of it. It's really nice. And I got like a crazy sale on it too, because the 2 balls I think were like $6 together, and it came with stitch markers, which I really appreciate because I'm always losing them. So I knit that up. I changed my needle sizes slightly. I made them a little bit larger because I knit really tight. And I did that for like everything else except for crochet. Crochet I'm kind of like loose with. So I always follow the pattern suggestions for hooks. But for knitting, I always go a size or 2 larger because I don't know why I knit like the yarn is actively fighting me for freedom. But I do. So I always have to go up a size. But regardless, that started a whole new thing for me, and I wanted to continue on with my love of knitting clothes for myself, because the second that tank top blocked, I was head over heels in love with it. I just needed more knit clothes in my life. But the summertime was ending by the time I finished it, because I was like mid or late July. And then James and Watts released that he was going to be dropping requests for test knitters for the Look at My Holes drop sleeve sweater, and I could not sign up fast enough. Now that I figured it out, I measured everything else, and I did want my Look at My Holes sweater a little bit smaller than what was suggested, because it's supposed to have like quite a bit of positive ease, but I didn't want that because I don't really like baggy clothes like that. I will make some not suggestions, what is it called? Exceptions. I'll make some exceptions, but for this one I wasn't accepting, and I wanted it a little smaller. So I still knit up on my needle size, and I was going to make it the needle size that it was suggested in the pattern, but I didn't want to because I just know it was going to be tight, and I wanted nice holy like holes, I guess, in the sweater. So I still went up a size, and I wish I had gone a little bit larger on the size. But I knit the 2XL again, and I went up a needle size, which I had gone up to, and the yarn that I used was a merino yak yarn, and it's so soft. It's the nicest yarn I've ever used in my life. And I wanted it to be relatively fancy because it was going to be the biggest thing I've ever knit, because I've never knit sweaters before. So I did a little bit of like overspending on yarn. What is it called? I splurged on yarn a little bit because I wanted it nicer. And I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name because I can't remember how to say it. But it was like, it was the Pasquale? Pasquale? I'm looking at it. I'm struggling to say it. The Pasquale Tibetan yarn, and I think it was merino. It was wool and yak. All I know is that it was yak, and it was so soft and nice. It is merino. Okay, I just had to look it up. It's 70% wool, merino, and 30% yak, and it's so nice. And I overbought just because I was paranoid that I was going to run out of yarn for the sweater, even though the length of the sweater, I didn't want it as long as the pattern was, and as long as you mark like any changes when you're test knitting, you can change whatever you want. So I had marked that I was going to make it a cropped version with slightly longer sleeves, and it turned out great. I'm probably going to rip back the sleeve a little bit and make it a little bit longer, only because I do not take into account the bust of my bust, and so whenever I put on shirts, the sleeves cinch up so small, and the sleeves didn't end up as long as I wanted them to be, so I'm gonna re-knit the sleeves. Maybe. I am okay with it, but it took me a while, and I had to take apart a lot of stuff because it's so easy to mess up the pattern. And James even mentioned it, that it's really easy to mess up the repeats, the lace, the eyelets, because some people will like omit an entire row of knitting, like just knitting straight in the round or just straight. And when you omit that piece, the holes end up lopsided and wonky and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just remember to knit that. Just don't forget to knit that. And then, of course, I missed it not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but like for 5 different rows. And I had to keep taking it out. And it's wool. And, of course, I was starting to get fuzzy and felty. And I'm, like, freaking out. And I'm like, ah, man, did I fuck up? Did I mess this up? Did I have to fix it. So I did, more or less, take some time away from it, but I had a deadline. I think the deadline was like September 5th, and even taking it apart and putting it on ice for like a week and a half, I did finish by the deadline. Not even finished by the deadline, but I finished before the end of August, so I did have it for the start of autumn and stuff like that. But it's because of our good old friend global warming, the temperature that it was when I finished that sweater was not sweater weather, not even remotely. It was still swimsuits and booty shorts weather. Like, I was not I said swim shorts, I meant swimsuits. Swimsuits, booty shorts, was not doing it. It's far too much going on to even attempt to wear a sweater, so I didn't, actively avoided it. But I finished it, and it just had to sit on like my clothing rack while I had to admire it from a distance. But I ended up having so much fun with knitting all of these clothes that I set up a, what's it called, one of those like online like vision bulletin board thingies, and made a whole list of autumn knitting, crochet, and sewing plans. And did I get to any of those before the end of October? Absolutely not. I did do like 3 things. Like, I made a little crochet cat keychain that I love a bunch. He stays attached to my purse. I don't have a picture of him though, but I made some things. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. The world is crazy. I haven't felt like doing anything, but I did make plans because I'm still so, I need to knit stuff. It's been like an obsession now. And so some of my plans that I'm going to do next, I think I want to make the step-by-step sweater by, oh my god, is it Florence Miller? I'm sorry, y'all. I don't pay attention to all the big knitters, and I know it is. Okay, I looked it up. Look at me, my brain works. Okay, anyway, so I want to make the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller, but that's not a part of the autumn knitting plans. It's actually like, I have a whole bunch of stuff, and I think I can share a link to it. I will share it below. Maybe. It's a mess. But I have a whole bunch of things that I wanted it before the like really cold weather comes in, and it's already starting to get really chilly. Like, it stayed hot for too long, and then it just plummeted as far as the temperature goes. So I feel like I'm out of time for autumn knitting, but at the very least, before it's all said and done, I want to make a skirt, I want to make a vest, and those are the main goals. But there's still like 30 other items on the list. But I'm going to try to be realistic with myself and not burn myself out on those kinds of knits. I completely forgot to talk about the art. I'll like put it in the description below, but my camera dies here. I did not get to record the rest of painting the boots, but here's a video at the end showing everything that I did and the final results. Actually, no, I'm not gonna put it in the description. I'll talk about it right here. So I make this tiny series of like kids in horror being like kids, so they can, you know, have their little childhood. So I made Jason Voorhees and Samara playing checkers or chess and enjoying their little snacks, and I have another one for this year of the twins from The Shining and Chucky. It's super cute. And then the boots. Wasn't a big fan of how this turned out, but this is like a line art and of like I didn't sketch. I mean, I didn't do the line art on the main sketch, so I don't mind that I messed this up because I'll just redo it. But I got the colors down, I got the idea down, and you know what? I'm not entirely mad at this. This whole video is a month in the making. Everything about it is chaotic and messy. I don't know what's happening at all anymore, but I'm finally putting something out there for the first time since February. So hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you had a fun time hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out with me, and if you stuck it all the way to the end, I appreciate you. I'll just see you all in the next video. Bye.